This is Phineas jaywalking. East or peruse the gallery. I wonder if oil-based paint is combustible. He just got a fine of $100. And this is a literal bomb Phineas created to blow up the whole city. Just kidding. It was actually Doc the Doofenshmirtz, but Phineas is still heading straight to jail for all the deranged, illegal stuff he's gotten up to on a summer vacation. Remember when Candace had that horrendous allergic reaction to wild parsnips and then belted out this iconic banger? Evil. The making nipsy like my head's in a hydraulic press. Evil. Everybody, EVIL, BOIS, BOIS, that's like those bars are. Evil little boys. She was spitting facts on me. Phineas really did get up to pure evil, and this is just one damning example. Lemonade stand. We liked your idea so much, we decided to go for it, and it's turning out to be a big hit. Hit me again. Opening a lemonade stand without a permit. This boy is the spot of sight. A lemonade stand is considered a real business, so assuming Phineas didn't have a license to set one up, a Karen could call the cops and get the lawbreaker fined $100. His business was obviously get shut down too, but there would be no jail time for a crime as petty as this. Did you know it's illegal to go to space without the government's permission? Your only options are to train as an astronaut for years, be Katy Perry, or just go there illegally like Phineas has done on 4 separate occasions. In the pilot episode, his roller coaster goes totally rogue and ends up in space for a few seconds. And out to launch, he goes to space again, this time in his own rocket ship. We're catching up to her. In Unfair Science Fair, he invented a portal to Mars so Baljeet could win the science fair. It's cool. Okay, give us 20 minutes to find Candace. And lastly, in Moon Farm, he went all the way to the freckin' moon just to have some ice cream. We want ice creams ready. Let's dig in. Presuming he doesn't have a license for space travel, leaving the Earth 4 times without the government's permission was very much illegal. Unlicensed space travel doesn't lead to jail time, however, the fines are out of this world. And just one charge could lead to a fine as high as $120 million. But Phineas went to space 4 times, so let's quadruple the fine, $480 million. Now that's the kind of busting Candace would be really happy to see. Barry the Platypus leads a double life as a semi-aquatic egg-laying mammal of action, but back home he's just Phineas Ferb's pet platypus who don't really do much. Well, he's a platypus, and an illegal one, might I add. Yeah, bad news for anyone dreaming of owning their own Perry one day. It's actually illegal to own a pet platypus in every country on Earth. If the authorities found out about Perry, he'd be taken away, and, like, worst case scenario, they might actually just put him down. That is so dark. That is so dark, I was not ready to read that sentence. Anyway, as for Phineas, he's going to be serving 6 whole months in jail for violating illegal pet laws, also fined 10 grand. But he could technically get away with everything by simply turning his backyard into a zoo and getting an exotic animal permit. Anyway, putting a shirt on with a head shaped like a Dorito must be a big hassle for Phineas, but that's nothing compared to him literally pissing off the whole of Danville in the episode The Magnificent Few. Phineas and Ferb are riding ponies at Clem's Carnival, and Isabella has just gotten her milking badge. No one cares. A swarm of termites Sorry, that was so rude. A swarm of termites appears and chases Candace to the barn, and now she's getting chased by a stampede of cows headed straight for town. Oh my gosh, Stacey and Miss Sheepy, it's Phineas. Phineas. Stacy, I gotta go. Why does Candace always yell at Phineas when Ferb is equally involved? He doesn't say much, so I guess his existence is a little less annoying to her. The brothers and Isabella chase the cows at the other side of town via the subway and then straight through a busy mall. Yeah, Kyle. That lady must feel awful knowing an actual cow can fit into the same size clothes as her. After chasing the cattle around some more, everyone stops for lunch at Mr. Slushy Burger. Kinda disturbing considering these are cows, but anyway, the stampede continues down the high street. Luckily, Candace can save the day with a cow whistle. She totally wasn't just duped into buying. Well, what do you know? It works. Wait, stop. Hey, this cow whistle doesn't work. Phineas Ferb and Isabel return the cows at the ranch by the end of the episode. As for Candace, she avoided being crushed to death by cattle. However, she presumably spent a few nights in the hospital after this very painful accident. Can't go fuck. That would never happen to anybody but her, though. Like, what did this poor girl do to get cursed with such bad luck? But speaking of bad luck, Phineas could be looking at 6 months in jail and $1,000 in fines with the crime of creating a public nuisance. Any behavior that interferes with public safety, comfort, or convenience falls under this offense. Driving a herd of cattle through town and even into a mall definitely would have endangered and pissed off a bunch of people, but the mere sight of Isabella's adorable pony definitely made a few people's days. Those X-ray glasses Phineas and Ferb invented in No More Bunny Business were super cool. Sucks if Phineas used them to be a little creep, though. After camping out in the mailbox only to receive fake X-ray glasses, Phineas and Ferb build real ones and use the glasses to perform lots of cool deeds, like finding Mrs. Garcia Shapiro's wedding ring and rescuing children from a bouncy house ball pit. But it doesn't take long before Phineas steps into illegal territory. But that don't bother me, 'cause either way, spying on people in the comfort of their own homes would be considered a gross invasion of privacy, and this creep, if he headed straight to jail for 1 year and fined $2,500, those X-ray glasses would definitely be useful for helping him plan an escape, though. It took Howard Carter 5 grueling years to locate the tomb of King Tut. It took Phineas and Ferb 1 bathroom break to find their own mummy, but to be fair, they were only looking at a movie theater. In the episode Are You My Mummy?, Phineas and his family are watching Bones of Doom at an ancient Egyptian-themed movie theater. Phineas starts fantasizing about having his own mummy to knit, DJ, scare away bullies, and punch him on the swings. After vowing to find a rotting corpse to call his own, he and Ferb sneak into the movie theater's basement, ready to search for dead guys, but those little bozos aren't pulling anything on Candace's watch, or maybe they are. Maybe it's the mummy. Cool way shoot. The gumball machine Candace knocked over chases her through the basement, and she falls into a supplies closet with a mouthful of old stale bubble gum. She tries to get back up and knocks down a shelf of butter and paper towels, turning herself into a mummy. She's way too committed to busting her brothers to stop and clean herself up, though, and honestly, I admire that. Phineas. And that. Wow, I didn't expect him to be so scary. Makes me shudder. Phineas and Ferb capture Candace in a sarcophagus, and suddenly the basement floods with water. The three of them and Perry ride the greatest log flume ride ever. Hey, where's our mummy? Mummy? Mommy? Well, Mummy herself waiting for us at home. Candace? Why are you all wet? It wasn't Phineas's fault that the movie theater flooded, so he can't be charged as criminal damage, but he did snoop around the basement without permission. The storage space is presumably off limits for guests, so being down there would be considered trespassing, and the crime had earned the kid a whole year in jail and $1,000 in fines. That sounds harsh for a petty crime, but imagine if Phineas pulled this down in ancient Egypt. His nose and ears would be literally cut off, no kidding. Phineas already illegally owns a protected species of the pet, so he's not exactly the Greta Thunberg of the tri-state area, especially not with all the other crimes he's committed against the environment. And where's Perry? Phineas and his friends go on a safari ride in Africa. That's a totally normal, non-illegal thing to do. However, taking a nap with a leopard, and having a literal picnic with the wildebeest, would be considered wildlife disturbance, and that's a crime warranting 1 year in jail plus $50,000 in fines. Then there's the whole Swinter situation. What's going on here? It's summer and winter together. It's winter. There's sleigh bells all around, but the sun's beating down. Building his own ski resort to stay cool in the summer is an awesomer alternative to AC, but messing with the Earth's natural seasons would be considered illegal geoengineering, and that's a fancy word for manipulating the weather, and the crime would earn Phineas another 5 years in prison and $25,000 in fines. Well, that's half of Phineas Flynn's crimes down. Let's see how his sentence is doing. 9 years and $480,089,700 in fines. Those fines are horrific, but the jail time ain't too bad. But we're only halfway through the busting process, guys, and knowing how literally nothing is impossible for Phineas, these next crimes are going to be a million times more crazy. So Phineas and his bro Ferb built a teleporter and an animal translator, but their most impressive invention to date has got to be that time machine. In It's About Time, Phineas and his family are visiting the museum. The brothers stumble upon an exhibit featuring an old time machine that a 19th century scientist could never get to work. That guy probably spent his whole life trying to figure it out, but these two kids just need a toolbox in 5 minutes. Well, it's working now. What? Take me home, 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 take me home. This could be a problem. You know stuff got serious when Ferb feels the need to say something. Having seen Candace's freakishly long neck and probably assumed she is an ornithomimus, the T-Rex chases his next meal. The boys rescue her on their scooter. Phineas then writes a message asking for help on the dinosaur's paw print. This note appears in the fossil in the museum. The Fireside Girls read it and rebuild the time machine. But turns out they weren't as smart as we all thought they were, because they literally built a machine that only works if it's plugged in. Bossified electricity and dinosaur land. Yeah, Time machine belonged to the museum, so taking it without permission is technically theft, and the penalty is 3 years in jail plus a $5,000 fine. Taking apart the exhibit in the first place would also be considered vandalism, and the crime would add another 3 years and 50 grand if any is a sentence. Which is super unfair if you ask me. Like a dude who literally just invented time travel. He just became the Nobel Peace Prize, not $5 college fund. Not that he needs a college anyway. I mentioned mayhem a lot on this channel. You probably know by now that it's the crime of disfiguring, disabling, dismembering, or otherwise mutilating another person. And in my now some cover the dumbest case of it ever. In the episode Doofapus, Phineas and Ferb invented the state-of-the-matter transfer device that can turn any solid into liquid. Now they can enjoy smoothies with weird and unusual flavors like chicken or romantic dinner for two and a mentally unstable teenage girl shaped like an AirPod. Phineas and Ferb. No, get off. You can't tell me that wasn't personal. Candace probably destroyed the bird's nest trying to bust her brothers or just do something weird that could make a stick portrait of Jeremy's space. Phineas reverses the polarity of the device and tries to turn his sister back to normal, but now she's stuck shaped like a jello. To turn her back to normal, they'll need to make her a liquid again and to use some sort of a Candace mold. Luckily, Buford has life-size molds of all of his friends for reasons I don't wish to know. Candace, come on out. I'm me, glorious me. You did. Ooh. Bust. The state-of-the-matter transfer device disappeared, so Phineas never got busted in the shell. However, if Candace's insane story about being turned into an orange smoothie was actually believed, but cops, her little bro, could be facing charges as mayhem. Well, it was Candace's own stupid curiosity that got her smoothie-fied. Phineas would still be liable for what happened because he neglectfully left his highly dangerous machine sitting alone in the backyard for anyone to come across. He'd be heading to jail for 8 years and fined 10 grand for this crime, but I guess the more likely scenario is that Candace gets deemed insane and put in a mental institution, probably by her own mom. You guys heard of the wild conspiracy theory that Phineas and Ferb don't actually exist? Yeah, according to some fans, Candace became so traumatized by the deaths of her little brothers that she developed schizophrenia and now hallucinates them doing insane stuff every day, like carving her face in the Mount Rushmore. It's beautiful. Phineas does exist, though, and carving Candace's face into a historic landmark like Mount Rushmore might be the most epic destruction of government property I've ever seen. This crime is punished way harsher than regular vandalism, so Phineas would be facing 10 years in jail and $250,000 in fine. But it was all worth it to make his sis smile. Candace's attempt at parallel parking was an experience. Okay, Candace, all you have to do is park between this plastic trash can and that plastic trash can. First, that alone made her feel like a total loser, so when her little brother literally became a professional racer in the episode The Fast and the Phineas, she must have been in physical pain. Phineas becomes fascinated by the Swamp Oil 500 race going on over the backyard fence and decides to enter by beefing up his mom's janky old car. Honestly, Phineas rocks the green hair. Ferb kinda looks like Beaker from the Muppets, though. After recruiting the Fireside Girls as his pit crew, Phineas is ready to race. Unfortunately, his big moment is at the risk of being ruined by a very disruptive member of the audience. And look, he's already got his own screaming fans. Phineas, hey, Candace is rooting for us. First, and your little brother's gonna be on TV. I just realized that Candace and Jeremy look weirdly alike, and now I feel very uncomfortable. Like they both got that AirPod head shape. Like, what if they're related and we don't even know about them? I'm going too crazy. I'm dissecting the frick out of this way too much. I don't get paid enough for this. Phineas blasts away, leaving Candace to literally eat his dust. He ends up winning the race, but Linda misses her son's crowning moment as different Schmert's blimp crashes into the stadium's broadcasting tower. Doof steals Linda's car to escape the scene and ends up driving it through a car wash. Candace then races her mom to the empty garage to prove once and for all that she's not crazy and Phineas is evil. Look, I told you. But who did this? Phineas and Ferb. Yes, no, what? It's beautiful. I gotta admit, I thought you were exaggerating a bit, but this is really worth getting excited about. How'd you like it? I loved it. And who wants some snacks? Thanks, Mom. Honey, close your mouth. You know, I really feel for Candace. Like, if that face right there, pure despair, the face of someone who literally wants to crawl inside a hole and die, that makes me feel bad for them. Also, can we talk about the fact that she was under so much stress in that episode that she literally developed eye bags? Poor girl definitely needed some kind of psychiatric treatment after that, but Phineas will need a lawyer to defend him from all the crimes he just committed. First, he stole his mom's car to enter the race. Theft of a motor vehicle could earn him 12 long years, and Sony loans him $3,000 in fines. Then, there's all the speeding he did before the race. He'll add another $1,000 fine to it. Phineas can also be charged with underage driving, which will add an additional 90 days to his sentence. He can also be banned from getting his license until 21, but what's the point in driving anywhere when you just build a teleporter? Where do I fracking start with this one, man? Phineas is basically spending the entire summer endangering everybody's lives, but let me show you some of the awesomest ways you could have seriously maimed or even killed someone. In the pilot episode, Phineas built the most lethal roller coaster known to man. I don't remember this in the blueprint. And I'm sure this is new. In It's About Time, he took Candace back to the Jurassic era, and she was almost eaten by a T-Rex who, keeping voices low, and no sudden movements. Intrigued to get ready, he thought building 50-foot-tall fighting treehouse robots was a fantastic idea. I'm taking you down. Lastly, in Bolorama drama, Phineas created a giant bowling ball and put pedestrians at serious risk of being crushed by allowing Candace, of all people, to drive it. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Or now. So where does this lead? Heck, you're fine. The penalty for reckless endangerment can be as high as 7 years and $5,000, so those clips alone would earn Phineas a 28-year stay in the slammer and a $20,000 fine. If you thought this upcoming clip was the most disrespectful thing Phineas ever did to his sis, let me be the first to say, happy birthday, Mom. He brought you some periodicals, a half-cap, double frap, mocha chocolate, mezzo espresso. Oh, wow, you boys really outdid yourself. Relax, enjoy some reading, and no peeking till he come get you. Oh, those boys are too much. Oh boy, let me remind you of the episode Journey to the Center of Candace. It is a lovely summer day, but instead of riding bikes or playing baseball like normal kids, Phineas and Ferb literally shrink themselves down into a submarine and hide in a grilled cheese. Pinky's supposed to eat the sandwich so the boys can retrieve Isabella's sash. However, Candace decides to have a little snack before her date with Jeremy. This is good. It worked. Pinky's chewing. Jeremy's head. Wow. 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 Pinky's neck is really long. Wow. Oh, excuse me? After spotting cereal and the tacos they had for dinner last night, Phineas and Ferb come to the disturbing realization that they are in their own sister's digestive system. Accepting that they are freckin' screwed, the boys pause for a moment in awkward silence. Then they call Candace and break the news to her. How do they even get a signal from in there? Desperate to find an escape route that doesn't involve a toilet bowl, Phineas hacks Candace's nervous system to force her to throw up. We have to help Isabella. So, arms and legs. Candace, are you okay? What? Phineas, I'm going to... What happened? Candace, are you sure you're okay? Come on, my uncle's restaurant is right over here. At the restaurant, Candace gets tickled by Ferb and coughs up the submarine. Pinky also threw up Isabella and got her sash back, so if there's that, everything worked out perfectly. But Phineas could be in some serious hot water, and I don't mean Candace's stomach acid. Picking control of her arms and legs and trying to force her to throw up would be considered assault, and if convicted, Phineas could be sentenced to as long as 32 years in the clink. He'll also have to cough up $750,000. And I was seriously impressed when I saw Phineas build the world's fastest airplane powered only by vegetable oil in the episode Summer Belongs to You. The best episode of the series, by the way, but the whole thing seemed less amazing once he demonstrated his flying skills or lack thereof. Rang. Fortunately, Ballsy's uncle let the kids borrow a giant rubber ball so they could continue flying, or should I say, bouncing around the world. Come on along with me, so many sides to see on the world. I think we all can agree that was a Baltic shouting around the world. Go to Rome and see the Colosseum. The Colosseum, be sure, don't you regard, you won't see it. You won't turn, but we gotta keep chasing the sun. Assuming the plane bows into every country outside the U.S., Phineas could be facing 194 counts of airspace violations. That basically means flying a plane into a country without getting permission from air traffic control. But he's also clearly guilty of piloting without a license because, I mean, he's like freckin' 10 or something. All those charges would earn Phineas 197 years in the clink, plus a colossal $42,680,000 fine. Wow, violating airspace really violates your bank account. If you're unable to watch the SpongeBob SquarePants episode, Have You Seen the Snail Without Bawling Your Freckin' Eyes Out, watch the Phineas and Ferb episode, Oh There You Are, Perry. It's a little less sad. Agent Pete wakes up at the crack of dawn ready for another day of kicking Dr. Doofenshmirtz's butt, but he's been downgraded to a minor threat. That means Perry is getting assigned a new villain called the Regurgitator and will be relocated to a new host family who are just lovely, being relocated away from your host family to this new family in the Quad State area. Bad news is the relocation, and the good news is the new villain thing, right? Just make sure you take your belongings from the house when you leave. Perry packs up his stuff and leaves with a broken heart. Phineas and Ferb become devastated by the loss of their beloved pet and literally capture every single platypus in town to try and find him. Sadly, none of them are Perry. Harry, this little guy's eyes are too close together and his beak is orange. Perry's is more of a tangerine. Too cartoony. Whoa, that word smells like meatloaf. Imagine if they're all secret agents though. It'd be like an entire army of Agent P's. Phineas suddenly remembers how much Perry loves music, so he climbs to the top of a building with all of his friends and blasts out the song Come Home Perry to everyone in town. Perry, you know you are a boy's best friend. You're more than just a passing trend. Perry, oh Perry, you're extraordinary. Perry. Doofenshmirtz gets reinstated as Agent P's nemesis, and Perry is soon back in Phineas and Ferb's arms. The episode had a happy ending, but Phineas won't be so thrilled about all the jail time he just racked up. First, we need to add 90 days in jail and a fine of $400 to his sentence for noise ordinance. While everybody in town loved the song, it's illegal to make excessively loud noise in public, so the Come Home Perry concert would be considered a crime, presuming Phineas didn't have some kind of street performer permit. Now let's talk about all those platypuses or platypi captured in the search for Perry. There were approximately 100 of those, and assuming they were all other people's pets, Phineas could be charged with 100 counts of theft of a companion animal. I mean, even if they weren't, still housing a platypus is illegal. If the value of the animal exceeds $950, the crime actually becomes grand theft in some states. So assuming platypuses are quite expensive to buy, Phineas is facing a whopping 300 years in jail and 500 grand in fines for stealing the platypuses. Well guys, it looks like Phineas Flynn is now officially busted. His crimes have earned him a grand total of 602 years and 180 days in jail, plus a staggering fine of $524,359,100. Justice has been served. But how does Phineas' sentence compare to other villains, huh? Click the screen to find out.